We are Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar, giving you a raw take on movies, television, and pop culture. My name's Chris Scott.
JB4.
Special guest today, we have the owner and proprietor of the Rivertown movie theater. No, Rivertown Theaters. I'd say, yeah, you got upgraded. He tells people to shut the fuck up in the movie theater. So
it's JB13.
That was the best part of the movie, but we'll do that story in a little bit. But proprietor of the Rivertown Theaters in Canterbury, Mr. Gary Rucker.
Gary Rucker, a.k.a. Movie Batman.
And that's it. And an extra special guest, Miss Kelly Frilot. Mrs. Kelly Frilot. Sorry about that.
Hello.
Wife of Ginger. So
Woo-hoo.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. We just literally walked out of the movie theater about 10 minutes ago from seeing The Joker. Todd Phillips, director, Joaquin Phoenix.
I think technically it's Joker.
Yeah.
Just Joker.
I think technically it's Joaquin.
Yeah. All right, well let's jump right into it. I guess let's get the initial. We'll go all the way around. Let's get the initial thoughts and reactions on this. We'll start with JB. What'd you think, man?
I think it's as good and as bad as everyone's saying.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, I'm ambivalent on it.
I got you. What did you think was good about it?
Obviously Joaquin's performance, and it looked great. And there were some very affecting parts. Like, it was a very well-made film. There's really no getting around that.
Okay.
But I mean, there's a lot of quibbles and a lot of concerns I've heard that I don't think are invalid. Does that make sense? Like, it's as good and as bad as everyone says. You know, it really is a Rorschach test, I think, based on who's watching it.
I'd agree with that, definitely.
You know?
And that gets some stuff from me too. But yeah, I mean, but saying that, what are the bad things? I mean, what do you think is?
I mean, we can get into that once we start the round table. It's
okay.
Like, I don't have a monolithic proclamation on what sucked about the movie. It didn't suck. There were moments that I thought were problematic that I'm like, that's why it's getting bullshit in social media. You know, I mean, whether or not it deserves to get called out on it is relative to your position. But, there was some stuff I was like, basically, I don't think the filmmaker can say, I didn't know that I was hitting a button there. Does that make sense? Like, it felt like it was trying to provoke. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I felt it was pretty heavy-handed in some parts. But,
exactly.
Mrs. Kelly Frilot, what did you think?
I thought it sucked, and I fell asleep at the end.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought it sucked and you fell asleep at the end.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But Joaquin
I
Phoenix, I think he did I like him, so I think he did okay.
Yeah, that's a big reason why I'm in this thing. If this role would have been played by really anybody else, I don't really necessarily know if I'd really be interested in seeing it. But I mean, it's kind of like one of those ideas. I mean,
not even Jared Leto.
No,
I had a Jared Leto thought while I was
okay.
All right, so I mean that pretty much caps that there. What do you think, Gary?
I loved it, but here's why I loved it. Because I walked in with a bad attitude, like, I'm going to hate this movie. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a chance. And then all the, like, social things that are going on in the world that is a problem with this movie, I'm like, I'm just going to watch this film as, like, not a piece of where we are as a country right now. I'm just going to watch the film for what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that Joaquin's performance was really riveting, and I think that's what got me through it.
Yeah.
I really liked that the most. Not that there were some cool little twist moments and some interesting things, and yeah, I never needed to know why the Joker became the Joker, but now that I know, I think I just stopped thinking of it as a Joker movie and just watching this guy's journey, and I think I was able to enjoy it more because of that.
I have to agree with you. That's pretty much my review. It's really thumbs in the middle. It anchors towards up, but and it's really because of Joaquin Phoenix's performance. I mean, he's amazing. I mean, he's a great actor. I mean, you can tell he put everything into this thing. I read some interviews with him. He said where he had gotten some of the concepts and ideas for playing the character. As being a comic book fan, I mean, you're always going to kind of get a little really opinionated on how they deal with the mythology of certain characters. There it is. Hey, thunder only happens when it's raining. So yeah, I mean, as far as all that stuff is concerned, I mean, like I said, when we get into the real nitpicky stuff, I'll go on that. But I mean, a lot of the stuff that I read on the internet is I'd have to agree with that. Ginger, what you got?
I have an idea. Let's make an avant-garde Joker movie and put it out starring Joaquin Phoenix and see how it floats. I felt like that's what they were trying to do. I didn't like it. I thought all the way up to
I said now that you know where they're married. Look.
I thought all the way up until because we're
but
spoiling it.
Kelly normally says Scott hates everything anyway, and I agree with her.
Yeah.
So.
No, who said that when we walked in?
It was me. I'll bet you $1. I said you weren't there. I was like, I bet you $1 that Scott hates this movie.
When
I'll tell you that before we saw it.
when he walked down the stairs in full makeup before the cops started chasing him, to me that's when the Joker movie started. In my opinion,
Yeah.
that's when I was like, this is a good movie. Up until that point, I was like, we don't need another Robin Hood movie, we don't need another King Arthur movie, and we don't need a Joker origin movie.
Well, all right. So now let's get into it. I mean, as far as this stuff is concerned, I mean, look, you're making a concept movie based on the villain, and I mean, you're going to have to a character that has been portrayed in so many different ways, especially by so many different actors. We get into this thing of who played the Joker the best. These actors that have played this character in the past, whether it's Jack Nicholson or Mark Hamill or even Cesar Romero or Jack Nicholson, any of these acted. I'm sorry, did I say Jack Nicholson twice?
He did.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Heath
but,
Ledger, you forgot.
Heath Ledger.
That's important.
So I mean, the thing with it is that they've played different versions of the characters, and I kind of consider this like one of these what if offshoot graphic novels where we're going to be
how
like,
I thought of it.
yeah,
Right.
it's going to be like, hey, look, this isn't going to be part of the Batman continuity that you know. We're going to take those concepts and we're going to kind of spin a different story, and that's kind of what I got from it. I mean, the seeds of the Batman mythology were there. I mean,
They just went the long way around it.
well, I mean, if you're going to make a story like this, I mean, you have to show this character's psychosis. You have to build the reason why he becomes what he becomes.
Right.
I mean, this is what it is. I mean, if you feel that you don't need a Joker origin movie, then don't even waste your time with this.
I will say
this is what this is.
spoiler territory here. I actually
Oh no, we're spoiling the hell out of this
Good.
movie today. So
I actually thought there's a sort of double swerve where you think that Joker's mother actually slept with Thomas Wayne and that they're actually brothers. I was like, holy fuck, that's a great twist.
Yeah.
And then it turned out she was just nuts. And
Is
I
it
was
a great
like,
twist, though?
okay.
I didn't think it was a good twist.
Well, here's the
Honestly,
thing.
yeah,
I thought
when
it was a cool twist, but like, to what end?
Right.
Like, we're not building off this movie
No.
to capitalize on that. So
Right.
what's
Well,
the
I mean,
point
well,
of it?
then why include Batman in the beginning, like, at all?
Hey,
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know who said it, but why, how can we have a Joker movie without Batman? I think we could have had a Joker movie without Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't need Batman or Thomas Wayne or Bruce Wayne.
Go ahead.
But this is kind of the point of it, though. The thing with it is that this is a Joker origin movie, but in a way, it's also a Batman origin movie. It's showing you how an icon or a symbol becomes the either protector or voice of the downtrodden. In this city, in Gotham City. It's just the thing with it is that it's kind of like asking, well, what if it was the Joker becoming the vigilante? Yeah, he's crazy and fucked up, and he does a bunch of wild shit, But I mean, the thing with it is that he's kind of like it's kind of like he's a precursor to Batman and showing you he does all this fucked up shit, but it's ultimately going to be Batman that shows up that's going to do the righteous things that you really do to fight for the downtrodden of Gotham City. That's the message that I got.
I'm with Sandy that I think that we like just the mere mention of the Waynes would have been sufficient. We didn't have to spend that much time with the family, but I mean, it didn't take away. It's just I definitely see
it didn't
what
take
you're
away,
saying, like,
but we didn't need it.
Yeah.
There's one little Easter egg I caught, and I don't even know if it's deliberate, and I'm not going to sit through that movie again to verify it.
Neither will I.
But
I'll do it. What do you want?
when he's in Arkham, there's a shot where he's in the elevator, and that movie, of course, is dirty as hell. I mean, there's grime all over the place. But to the screen left of the Joker, of Joaquin, there's a smudge, like a sort of grease smudge that looks a lot like a bat. Like it looked.
They did a lot of shit like that.
Yeah.
It's things that I didn't catch in the movie, but it's things that I caught on Instagram when they were filming the movie. There's a lot of references to different things in the comics.
Yeah.
I think when he's in the subway and I don't even think it's anything that really is seen on film. There's a subway map that actually breaks down the different districts of Gotham, and a lot of the names of the different districts are named after the most popular authors of the comics or the artist. So it's just shit like that.
Yeah.
They do little
shot
things
of him
like
on
that.
the bus with the sort of graffiti behind him. If you looked at it, it's sort of spelled out Joker.
I like the Heath
Focus.
Ledger moment when he's in the cop car, like with his face pressed against the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think another thing with this movie, and this is some of the things that I read, it's actually the thing that made me stop reading because I didn't want to really have it influence my opinions. And I can't say it influences because it's true. This movie is it's Martin Scorsese love letter. I mean, this is This is Mean Streets and Taxi Driver, and that was a lot of criticism for a lot of people. They were saying, okay, look, and this. It's
King
okay.
Of comedy too.
It's okay to have an
yeah,
right. It's an okay to have an homage to something, but this is like it's like The Force Awakens. It's like sitting there and saying, okay, well, look, we're going to take those Martin Scorsese movies and we're going to plug the Joker character right into that same universe.
Yes, that makes sense.
So I mean, I didn't ruin it for me, but I mean, the guy's performance was incredible. I mean, I can't take that away from anything.
I was trying to remember
great.
the last time I've sat through a movie where so many current things in the world are like affecting my viewing of the movie. Do you know what I mean? That's why I had to like really focus on that. But I mean, can you remember another time when a movie came out that what was happening in our world was so like not commented on, but you know what I'm saying? Like the movie is definitely like you said, a little heavy-handed in like what it's poking at.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things in here. I mean, there's obviously a lot of there's a lot of I guess references to our current presidential administration. There's a lot of things there with Antifa. There's a bunch of different shit.
Yeah,
that's there, and I found it to be pretty heavy-handed.
Well, that was the other thing. I know everyone's saying that this is going to be sort of like the go-to for incels, and I have no doubt in my mind. Like, number one, him fantasizing about the girlfriend, I was like, ugh, he's an incel. But, like he's involuntarily celibate. But also, when he was seeing the sort of city-prescribed shrink, and he says, I feel like no one's paying attention to me, but now they're starting to notice. I'm like, I can see that in
like this is propaganda
like videos. Yeah, but on the flip side of it, I also feel like he was sort of like the accidental crazy patron saint of socialism because there's the oligarchy so I feel again like it's a Rorschach. I feel like depending on who watches it, you can kind of imbue the main character with qualities you identify.
Well, when the
with.
lights came up in the theater after, I looked around like, all right, who thinks they're the Joker now?
Yeah, right.
Who in this theater is like,
obviously the asshole sitting behind us.
Right.
Let's get on that for a second.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
this is gonna be my legacy.
The best part of the movie.
Best part of the movie, hands down, is before the movie starts. So we all sit down and
I was late, by the way.
We're going through the previews and everything, and some pretty impressive previews. I have to admit that Knives Out looks pretty fucking gnarly.
It did for the second time.
A friend of mine saw that at whatever was just in Texas, in Austin, the film festival. She said it is by far the best movie she has ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah,
so it must be so good that we got 2 trailers for it.
Yeah, they showed a trailer twice, and they were different trailers.
I'm gonna look it up, but she's like, it's like Hot Fuzz meets something. I forgot the other movie, but I was like, oh fuck yeah.
Man, yeah.
She said it was by hands down one of the best.
And what's interesting is directed by Rian Johnson, who just came off of The Last Jedi and caught a pile of shit from nerds everywhere.
Yeah, she said like
and
after
deservedly
the movie,
so.
everyone was like show it again. Like they were all. That was one of the surprises.
Cool.
We're watching the trailers.
So we're watching the trailers and all this shit, and we're watching all this stuff, and they're watching the trailers. I'm watching the LSU game. Gary's sitting next to me. We hear this chattering and bro shit going on over our shoulders.
It was not even chattering. It was like
like loud guffawing and really
like full voice conversation.
Yeah, full voice obnoxious conversations going through like a commentary track to all of these trailers, which Gary is obviously very interested in watching.
So am I.
So Gary stood up and made sure that he was seen by these guys.
You started it.
Oh yeah, I did start it. I screamed. I said, "Hey girls, calm it down." And then after
to
no avail. And then Gary figured that he put some bass in his voice, stand up, look at them directly, and
one
say,
time that's ever happened.
"Look, it would be amazing if you shut the fuck up. And then when they looked at him and tried to protest, he went, no, shutting the fuck up would be amazing.
No, the guy was like, I'll shut up. I'm like, no,
I'll shut up during the movie.
Well, he said, I'll shut up during the movie. And I said, no, it would be great if you would like shut the fuck up now.
And they didn't shut up during the movie.
Now would be better.
No, they didn't.
And it proves once again, like, I abhor going to movie theaters.
Well, yeah,
I can't stand it.
It ruins it. And I was telling JB, I forgot what movie I went to see, but I was by myself, and like it was a packed crowd, and these two little old ladies behind me were just chattering the whole time.
Yeah.
So I look back, I'm like, hey, like, would you mind keeping your voice down? And they went, what? And I said, no, I'm just trying to hear the preview. They went, well, we won't talk during the movie. I said, yeah, but I want to hear the previews. So she leans back to her friend and she goes, he wants to hear the previews. And I'm like, oh, fuck me. Just want to hear the previews. You know,
Yeah.
like, so I don't know what this new thing is that it's okay to talk
It's
previews.
entitlement. People just don't. People think that they're entitled to do whatever the fuck they want, and they're rude, discourteous people, and they go to these movie theaters and they go spend $20 worth of shit and ram processed sugar in their face while fucking screaming loudly.
Well,
and
the
it's
only
a pain in
reason
the
I
ass.
felt comfortable enough to say something because you four were sitting by me, and even Kelly, y'all all look way more tough than me. So
I wouldn't
figured-
fuck with her.
I figured they scanned the row and
She
were
would
like,
use
all
her
right,
teacher voice on
they've
him.
got his back. So
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely the best part of the movie.
It absolutely
I was the Joker
was.
in that moment.
I think also though when you do stuff like that, sometimes it provokes them more, and then they continue to do it during the movie.
Yeah, but
because they just want to piss you off.
I think his
With younger
friends
kids.
were like, oh, this asshole. Like, I don't
Yeah.
feel like he was invited. You know?
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
They were like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, they didn't. They seemed to be like, yeah, like shut up. So
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad that you told them something. But yeah, I mean, I'm
stepped out of character today with those.
yeah, I was preoccupied with Joe Burrow's record-breaking performance, throwing his 6th touchdown
Yeah,
during
we
the
saw
LSU game.
your
So,
phone on.
Yeah, so
That's another.
I was like, we're
aggravating
bitching
My
about
phone-
people
thing in the
talking, and
movie.
my
asshole's
phone
got his
on.
phone.
What do you mean? Oh, when the
But
movie.
it's not bothering other people.
I put it in the
When the lights
cup.
went off, your phone and your phone are still on.
Yeah, well, what I did was I put it in the cup, but I faced it away so it wouldn't shine up. But apparently that didn't do any good. So I'm sorry. Did that aggravate you, Scott?
No, sitting through 2 hours of this movie called The Joker
Here we
did.
go. Oh, his vagina's the sandiest I've seen in a while. That's the laugh. That's
It's
the laugh.
when he hands out the card and says, "I have a condition that makes me laugh." Yes, I realize it's a true condition, but right then and there, I was like, "Oh, this is what this movie's about." Okay,
Actually,
Yeah,
I read an
expect
article
trolls
about
to
his.
hand that out.
I don't care if it's a real.
No, I read an
condition.
article about his different laughs, and it was
Oh,
pretty
gotcha.
interesting. Yeah.
I also thought it was good that it was revealed that Zazie Betts like really didn't end up with him, and that was a figment of his
'cause there
imagination.
were a couple of times I was like,
she's
oh, come
way
on.
too fucking hot to
Right.
Fight
to land
Club
with that
moment.
crazy
Yeah, a
looking
couple times I was
motherfucker.
like, when did that happen? Like, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, man. It's I think this movie turned out what I expected it to be. I mean, it's
Yeah. I was
Shortest
thinking.
show ever.
I
15
dude,
minutes.
I think we did Undone longer than this show.
yeah, I think so. I mean,
We talked about X-Men last crap
Yeah.
before.
yeah, well, there was a
I
lot.
had a
There was a
thought-
lot to deconstruct
Yes,
there.
there's
So
a lot to
Just
hate
because
on.
I'm into like, you know, how can you tell a story different ways? And I was sitting there thinking like, what if they reshot this entire movie shot for shot, but with like a Muslim playing the Joker? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
How would that resonate in
Right.
our like political climate now? You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like in a lot of ways, if you made, and I know there may prompt eye rolls, but just narratively speaking, if you made the Joker a minority and had his response to the constant being fucked with
Right.
to become the Joker, you know, I mean, it
Would it
it'd
be more or less acceptable? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, how would people react
it's
to
it's
that?
an interesting what if.
Right.
You know.
The movie just ended. We got here, I guess, 30 minutes ago, and y'all already had thought that. I literally was like, what time is this movie ending? And what
I
am
thought
having
that
for
like,
dinner
while I was
tonight?
watching, because there were certain
I
things he
did.
was
Yeah,
doing.
I was
I'm
like-
I thought it before I saw
well,
it.
as a
actually.
white dude, that's easy to get away
Is-
with. But like, as
these
any
guys
person
gonna-
of color, would that have the
Are
same?
these guys
response?
Right,
gonna talk
exactly.
anymore during the theater? And
Yeah.
is LSU winning or not for Chris? That's all I worried about.
The cops at the top of the stairs would have started shooting immediately.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
you
It's like
know.
there's so much he kind of got
Scott,
away with.
do you like anything? Really? Do you like anything?
there are a few things I do like.
I mean-
but this was not one of them.
Yes.
He had a moment of joy recently. I just can't remember what it was.
The Marvelous Miss Macy. He did.
I texted you about
Maisel
something.
or
I said
whatever
it's,
it
it's
is.
so nice to see you happy about something.
Yeah, I
that's
don't
in your
remember
life.
what it was. Oh, it was some show we were watching.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
scroll. I'm
remember.
gonna scroll and find.
Find out.
Yeah.
He,
We don't text each other that much
I
to
know,
find
it's,
out.
it's probably right.
He texted us. He texted us about the Amazon show, the Marvelous Miss Maisel or whatever.
Miss Maisel, yeah.
Miss Maisel.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
good. Let's talk about that.
I mean, yeah. He,
I did hear good reviews about that.
See?
though.
Scott was like, I mean, Scott blew Miss Maisel as hard as I blew La La Land. I mean, that's pretty much what it was. I'd say one of my biggest criticisms is being a Batman fan. I really didn't like the way Thomas Wayne was portrayed in the movie. I didn't like it.
Actually, I kind of did like how they planted that seed to make him an asshole. So when the Joker does have his uprising,
he's not an asshole though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one constant in the mythology is that. City, I mean,
the mythology also doesn't have a Joker origin story.
Well, I mean, yeah, it does. It's got, fucking A, it does. I mean, dude, The Killing Joke is like one of the most popular Batman stories ever and tells his origin. But I mean, it's, I don't know. I think the thing with it is I don't like that shit. I think the thing with it is that if you want to do you want to make the evil rich the causation of shit. I mean that's cool, not a fucking problem. But
right.
All right, so I have a
But I mean the thing with it is I mean why Wayne, dude? Why that character? You know, I mean that's the character that is the hope. Now when I sit there and I look at the end of it, I'm like, well, dude, you portrayed Thomas Wayne. I mean, what kind of asshole is Bruce Wayne going to grow up to be now? You know, I mean,
right.
That's kind of what I was.
I felt like they didn't have to make Wayne such an asshole to make the Joker more sympathetic. Like he could have been a great guy, and same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's really my.
Please, read
on August 31st. I have an exchange with Sandy Vagina. I said, "Have you read the reviews for Joker yet?" No, don't really care. We're going to go see it and do a show about it. If you want in, you're more than welcome.
Wow. So he didn't even see the movie
this
and
was
walked
August
in and was like,
August
this
31st.
is going to suck.
This was August 31st. Yeah. I said they're worth the read just to see how people are divided. It's DC. I'm sure they are. That's the world we live in now. That's what he said. I mean, God. The thing that I said you were generally excited about was the Disney TV channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So
that's what it was.
So just
can't
out
wait
of
to start watching the Apple Dumpling Game.
Yeah, I can't.
Chitty bang bang.
Yeah. That's all they've got in the opening months. I mean,
I don't know, dude. I don't know what article you've read. You sit there and you look at the rollout of everything.
Happy about one thing, and you're going to shit on it. Let him have the one thing. Look at him.
Look at me. One thing. Give me one thing, and it's Disney. Did you see that? What did Scorsese say? Something about Marvel movies aren't really movies.
Oh, they all say that fucking shit.
Yeah.
And hey, guess
Only
what?
because he made his heavy-handed.
And guess what? He's
film.
right. I mean, that's pretty much it. Well, I mean, dude, one line. He said, "Look,
I don't go for that."
He said the movies are entertaining. He said that the movies are highly entertaining. But he said, but as far as like really offering any real artistic value to anything, I mean.
Well, I mean, when you look at his favorite movies, that makes sense. I mean, how does he feel about the serials that he grew up with?
Maybe Thor in the next Thor movie, he would do like a 5-minute dance in the bathroom with no shirt on.
There you go. A Napoleon Dynamite dance.
Well, he'll definitely do that. I mean, dude, if you judge it based on Ragnarok, he'll most certainly do that.
I can't wait for that.
I mean, dude, we made him a big fat guy, so I mean, fuck, that's like the next step as far as I'm concerned.
I got you being an asshole just now, by the way.
You got that?
Yeah, I got it. No one else seemed to.
I love Thor.
It was a Joker.
All right, so look, we'll wrap this one up quick, but let me just ask this last question. Now that we have this latest entry into the Batman mythology, who do we think played the best Joker? As far as all of the different versions of the character. Oh yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna go and say I still think Heath Ledger did, but I did like Joaquin Phoenix in the last 15 minutes as he became the Joker, and when he killed Robert De Niro and ran around the city. I thought that was a good Joker. I thought he played the Joker well.
So in other words, Scott likes Iron Man when he wears the suit. He doesn't like Tony Stark leading up to Iron Man. I mean, that's pretty much what I kind of read.
Look at his face. Look at it.
Yes, Chris. I like Iron Man when he's wearing the suit.
I don't blame you. Me too.
I mean, I feel like I'm supposed to say Joaquin Phoenix.
I love buzzing your balls, dude.
But
don't, and that's why people say this movie's good because it's supposed to be because Martin Scorsese.
I agree with you on that, Scott.
Like, yeah, I mean,
dropped your headphones so many times.
Well, and I mean,
I'm tired of listening.
Yeah, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix did an exceptional job. Like,
well, he had more time than Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger was in,
right,
a third of the movie. Joaquin Phoenix, he's the whole movie.
Well, and again, I think it comes down to, and this occurred to me as I was watching the movie. I was like, as an exercise in us trying to make sympathize with the Joker. This is, I guess, as close and verite as you can get it. But I still like the idea of the Joker being a smart enough villain to play with everyone's conceptions, which is what Dark Knight was all about. He had no backstory. He deliberately
he was
kept
just
it
chaos.
vague. You know what I mean? Now it's just like, well, he was actually adopted. I mean, that's
But
actually
that's,
a
but that's
twist.
that version of the
You know?
character. I mean,
Right. Exactly. I prefer the smarter version instead of the sad, fucked up version, and so that influences my decision on why.
Well, can I tag team on that? Did you think they were trying to make him sympathetic?
Oh, most definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I never found him sympathetic, but I was fascinated by his story.
Right.
Like,
I mean, that's
I didn't
fair.
sympathize with him at all. You know, and
Right.
I wonder. Yeah.
I think there's something to that. I think that they're trying to make him sympathetic without making him sympathetic. I watched a video.
Likable, but not sympathetic.
I watched a video just yesterday about that movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas, and they said that movie caught a lot of shit because people didn't really understand it, because at the time you didn't have somebody who was unhinged and fucked up that was kind of like the hero of the story, and the guy really was fucked up. I mean, if you sit there and you look at how the movie was constructed, Michael Douglas's character Defense is literally the same guy as the Nazi weapon salesman. They're the same person. It's just that they have different outlooks towards stuff, and people didn't know how to take that. And I think that this is what that movie's trying to do. Also, they're sitting there saying, "Hey, look, you know, this guy's fucking unhinged, but we're gonna try to get you to kind of like him, even though you really shouldn't." I think there's something to that.
Yeah,
So
I was rooting for him, but I didn't feel sorry for him.
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, it's a hodgepodge. It's you know how The Matrix is sort of like a hodgepodge of a lot of sci-fi.
Yeah.
This is a hodgepodge of a lot of like Scorsese / like existential angst. I mean, there was a little bit of Fight Club. There was a little bit of V for Vendetta. There was King of Comedy. There was Network. I mean, there's a lot of
there's a lot of
you
shit.
know, mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore kind of shit mixed in there. You know, it was a good mashup, I guess. But I see it as a one-off. I'm not remotely interested in seeing Batman fight that Joker.
Please do not.
not at all.
Don't
You know?
sequel
I don't think
this
this
movie.
is going anywhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, me either.
All right,
Well,
Kelly Frilot, what do you think?
I like
music?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix is
Joaquin
probably
Phoenix.
that's your bet. That's your
Yeah.
favorite portrayal of the Joker character, even
Joaquin
more than
Phoenix.
Heath Ledger.
Oh yeah.
Even though you fell asleep?
Even though you fell
I
asleep
fell
when he was
asleep
the
at
Joker.
the very, very, very end.
That's when he was the
No,
Joker.
not when he was the Joker. It was after that. It was
The
kind
credits.
of. No, it was a little bit before that.
Oh, when he's getting interviewed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I thought that
he kills the.
that was.
yeah,
it.
when
She
he
hasn't
kills the
seen
lady interviewing him.
Hey, can you kill that, please?
Turn it
What's
up,
this
baby.
music?
Oh, that's right. You don't have headphones. You don't hear all the credits playing over
there's lots of music.
our
It's about
shit.
to go out. It's over.
Yeah, I woke up and he was like walking down the hall with the bloody footprint.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Gotcha.
I got you. What about you, Gary? What's your favorite portrayal of the Joker?
I'm with JB. It's hard to say because between Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix, I think they both did very different jobs. I think I'm gonna go with Heath Ledger because he was a true Joker, whereas Joaquin Phoenix was this dude who became the Joker.
Right.
So I think just to be fair to the character, I'm gonna stick with Heath.
And Heath had better makeup, too.
He
In
did.
my
But Joaquin, like he was
I liked
amazing.
Joaquin Phoenix. I liked his makeup at the end. If they, I know it's not going to happen, but if that were to be his makeup in some next movie, I'd be happy with that.
yeah.
Well,
no,
I
he
Probably
looked great.
could have copied.
I think it fits this movie for the fact of the era and what they're going after. I mean, it's obviously John Wayne Gacy's, Pogo the Clown makeup.
Right,
and it fits with that 70s aesthetic. So, I mean,
one of the things that I think this movie will be remembered for is it's definitely made by a Gen Xer. Like, it's just reeks of our generation.
And
for
sitting in the
sure.
movie too, just because we're on the subject, I was thinking like, oh, Jared Leto must be like, oh, okay, that's what you can do, like, because he didn't do anything, So it was just
Because he got cut out.
yeah. But even when he was
It was all
on, it
about
like
him.
it wasn't that groundbreaking or interesting. It was just
No.
a bunch of grill.
yeah, I mean, if the Joker shops at Hot Topic, I'm not really too interested
Yeah,
in.
and I think Jared Leto's a great actor. He just didn't. I don't feel like he did anything. Like, he
Totally
No.
agree. I don't know. He kind of. I'm on the fence with Jared Leto. I read a lot of the behind the scenes thing that happened with that.
Yeah.
That
You have
happened
problems
with
with method.
that. I don't like method acting.
You
I
don't.
think it's
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
it's
Who's
silly.
your stupid?
'Cause
Good
I
job.
have one more thing to say, but who's your favorite?
Man, I got to stick with Mark Hamill. Man, I think he's not a live action version. He's an animated version, but man, it's so close to the comics, man. And I mean, Mark Hamill
He took him a long way.
Mark Hamill took that character a long
did.
way,
Yeah.
and I like his portrayal of the character, even though it's animated. I mean, if I'm going to go with movies, man, I like Heath, but man, I also like Jack Nicholson. I like the clown prince of crime thing that Jack Nicholson does. I think it's pretty cool. You know, I really like every actor that's kind of brought their thing to it. The only one I never really liked was Jared Leto, but I can't really blame. I can only blame maybe half of that on him.
Yeah, it's the director. I blame the director.
Yeah, they didn't give him much to work with. But
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they gave him a lot to work with, but it's another thing to where they say DC went through that thing where it was a lot of studio interference, and that's what happened. That was partially to blame, and I think there's some credit to that. I mean, the Justice League movie proves it without question.
Right.
So,
at any point, did any of y'all think that he wasn't going to be the Joker? That this was leading up to someone else being the Joker?
I felt that this is what I felt at the end of the movie. Maybe he is not the Joker that you come to know, because the thing with it is that if you're going to look and think of this thing moving forward into the future, you have a Bruce Wayne character that's maybe about 10 or 11 years old who loses his parents.
Right.
And the thing with it is by the time that he becomes Batman, which would probably be about maybe 15 years later, now you're dealing with a Joker who's like 60 years old.
Yeah, like one of the guys he inspired.
So yeah, maybe that's what happens is that there are
takeaway.
there's a fringe group, you know, that adopts what Arthur Fleck.
I thought that might be like if he was really going to kill himself on the show.
I did too.
That you'd like cut to the person watching it and like.
And I actually probably would have been like, "Wow, that was a
that's
ballsy move."
That's how I wanted the movie to end,
So
even though it was telling you. That's I mean.
Yeah.
No, that's how I wanted.
But
it
it's
to end.
but it's
You
like
jumped still. You jumped when he got popped.
well, it's one of the.
He wasn't paying attention. He just heard the noise.
It's one of the biggest. It's one of the biggest criticisms of A Few Good Men is that Tom Cruise tells his partners, "I'm going to make him say it. I'm going to make him admit it in court." And that's what happens. And I mean, the performance carries it along.
It does, yeah.
But I mean, the thing with it is like you're like, well, fuck. I mean, you kind of told me how the movie was going to end. And even though I have to admit it would be cool, knock knock, and fucking hey man, nice shot, and blows his own fucking brains out. I mean, pretty awesome. But I mean,
and then you inspire somebody to be the real Joker.
Yeah.
Roll credits.
Yeah.
So instead,
but I mean,
inspire someone to shoot a TV host. I mean, I like, any kind of realization of violence has the risk of becoming viral to someone who's psychologically unstable.
Well, I thought that was going to be the last comment. Was like the kid at his house who saw that and goes down that path, like a Timothy McVeigh type of dude. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's sort of what happened, right? Like that's what was going on. Like,
they've taken there's a lot of precautions. I know that in the incident that happened in 2012 with the guy who dyed his hair and raided the movie theater and shot people in
Aurora,
in Aurora, Colorado. That movie theater that happened at, they refused to show the movie. Yeah. And I mean, and Warner Brothers justifiably
was down for that.
so.
Yeah, Warner Brothers also thought it was a good idea.
Well, I mean, they had that warning outside the door. I don't know. You guys saw that?
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I saw it when I was running in, and then on the way out I stopped and looked. But it's like, this is not a traditional comic book movie. This is very violent. Like, do not bring your kids to this.
Some people were looking at the sign.
Yeah. So it was a warning. Like, this is graphic. Like, this isn't what you're used to.
I got a buddy of mine's kid,
that.
13 years old. He's like, I've seen practically every Marvel movie with this kid. And he's like, we got to go see Joker. And I'm like, I don't think this is something you're even going to be interested in.
I wouldn't take, I mean, if I had to, if my daughter has no interest in comic book movies at all, unless it's Thor. She loves Thor. But other than that, she doesn't love anything else. But even if she was into comic book movies, being that big, like, you're going to be waiting until you're 18 to see that.
I'm kind of happy that they were willing to take a comic book movie to this level.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean...
It's different,
that's new.
It's refreshing, if nothing else, in terms of watching a comic book.
It has been done before. This isn't our first go around with an R-rated comic book movie. I mean, we've had Watchmen,
kind of violence,
right. We've had Watchmen and we've had Deadpool that have kind of turned the genre on its head, but we've never seen anything like this. Saying, "Hey, what if Martin's?" I mean, that's what this was.
Yeah.
What if Martin? Yeah. What if 1970s Martin Scorsese made a comic book movie?
Yeah, Taxi Joker.
There it is.
That's good.
Right.
So. All right, so there it is. So Kelly,
we padded 10 more minutes. That was good.
So Kelly fell asleep. Scott hated it. We thought it was all right. Gary loved it. So I mean, we're pretty much.
And yet she thinks that Joaquin is the best Joker.
I did like one other thing that I like that when he was on all his medication, he was really fucked up in the head. But when he wasn't on all his medication,
he was even more fucked up.
No, but
found his
that's
clarity.
when he started to realize everything. He found his clarity. Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought that. I mean, and the whole thing told you a lot about the freaking mental health.
There was definitely a lot of
Yeah.
commentary in this movie. Some of it I think is heavy-handed, but I think some of it very valid, especially
How
when it comes
horrible
to
the mental health.
Well,
Absolutely.
I'll just say this too while we're on that subject. I did read the article about all the laughs he kind of auditioned for the director, and how he had like really 3 different specific kind of laughs. Like his illness, the one they said they wanted it to hurt when he laughed, when he couldn't stop it. That's why there was some of that like coughing and stuff in there. The second one's like because he doesn't know how to be around people, so it's kind of that forced laugh. And then at the end when he like is finally clear-headed and has his moment of clarity, that he actually can laugh because he enjoys it. So I thought that was really interesting. Like as an actor, how do you tell those 3 stories of those 3 laughs?
I'm actually surprised that there's an audition. I thought that this thing was written for him.
No, not for him playing the role. It's he was
laughs
trying
for
out
being
different
auditions
laughs
to the
for the
director.
director. Like, all right, so for when I'm sick and I can't stop laughing, what do you think of these? And he would try different ones,
okay.
and they kind of settled on the one that made the most sense for both of them.
Well, honestly, I'm happy to see the guy in a comic book movie. I mean, he was the main choice for Marvel originally for doing Doctor Strange, and he said, "I don't want to get tied into this whole franchise thing. I just kind of want to do my thing."
Yeah.
And what's good is I mean,
Joaquin movie. Yeah.
and I think that this is good. I mean, there was rumors of him wanting DC wanted him for Warner wanted him for Lex Luthor. They wanted him for that Man of Steel, but they didn't get him for that
They
either.
saved him. The other interesting thing I
But
read
this is
was,
cool.
His love interest. What's her name? I can never say it.
Oh, Zazie Beetz?
Yeah, apparently her character went through the most rewrites kind of day to day. They said that they would always, every day they'd kind of give her new stuff. They said she was amazing at like being able to adapt. Like as they shot, her character went through the most transformation, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
It wasn't a huge character, but
Yeah.
I'd be interested to read about that.
I thought that played out very well. I was really happy because when I sat there and I was like, dude, Zazie Beetz, man. I mean,
But did he kill her?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a
What would give you that idea?
I thought
The
so
sirens?
too.
But then they kind of...
The sirens were for his mom. Wasn't that for his
No.
mom?
It's after he left her apartment. He was there, and all of a sudden you saw the flashing lights, you heard the sirens, and you heard people. But I'm
For
like,
some reason, I
did the
thought it was
sirens
something
pass?
else.
Is that just part of the traffic,
Right.
or what?
Well, you heard the sirens because the thing with it is that he killed his mother at the hospital, and then he went home, and then
Was in her apartment.
but went to her apartment.
Oh,
instead
so
of
it's
his
like,
home.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know which way.
But I thought so too. I was like, did he
Also,
kill her?
when I mean, in the 70s, when you kill somebody or when somebody dies in a hospital, is there not a flat line? Was that not part of the technology? Like,
It's
you
like
I don't know.
beep, beep,
Yeah, like
and
the
then it's
beep.
silent. There was no beep.
alert, like a nurse or something.
Yeah, I didn't know.
That was
yeah,
convenient,
some of
though.
it was really.
Well, if one thing you did notice is that as he was smothering his mother, she was hitting the
I did see that.
the nurse call
I
button.
thought that was the morphine button.
There you
Yeah,
go.
me too.
Might have been.
Yeah,
Might have been.
It could have been the nurse's button. I don't know.
No,
how
hey,
it
the
was in
morphine button, but
70s.
that's pretty cool though. Hey, comfortably numb.
Yeah.
But if you
No.
let the midget go, and she was kind to him, maybe I don't know.
That was just odd.
That was
That
really.
was.
That
Like-
was odd.
That whole part was.
He couldn't reach the chain.
Yeah, he couldn't reach the chain.
That was
I just so thought that-
let him go. Open it
But
for
the whole
him, and
audience was like,
Yeah.
you hear it.
But I just thought it was great because when he walked up, he just says, "You were the only one that was ever nice to me." Kisses him on the head and lets him go.
Yeah.
They
was
said
so
because we
great.
have the same name, they said something to him in the beginning of the movie, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is gonna become a thing." And I can't remember what it was, and I'm glad you all forgot because I'm like, I don't need to hear this for the rest of my life.
But again, that's when he became the Joker. As far as
Right,
I'm
right,
concerned.
right.
Yeah.
I also thought was cool too is that I like how his Joker suit at the end of the movie they stuck with the very traditional
They did, yes.
Joker costume, which I
They
thought
did.
was
Yeah.
cool.
Worked out nice.
Yeah, the yellow vest with the and not even really purple. That awesome '70s maroon suit that like everybody's dad our
Yeah.
age owned.
Yeah.
So if you're in your early 40s to mid 40s or even I'd say 40s to 50s, everybody's dad had a sports coat or a suit that color, that maroon color.
One last thing. We all talk about bringing our kids to the movies and what movies are fine for them to watch and what movies weren't fine for them to watch. The Waynes leave the theater. The 2 movies that are playing at the theater that they leave, when I always thought they went to the theater, I always thought they went to see some kind of
Opera.
Opera.
The
Some
original
Richie
in the
Rich kind of
original
thing.
comic book, it was Zorro.
It was Zorro.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
But it was Zorro the Gay Blade.
But what I like about Zorro the Gay Blade is if you're familiar with the movie, it's kind of what this movie does. It's a flop of the same character.
Yeah.
That's what it
Right.
is. I mean, the Joker in this movie is Batman. This is Batman's origin, just from someone who's psychotic. It's just the thing with it is his ideals are just different. That's why he becomes a vigilante in a way. It's just really fucked up, you know?
I saw Zorro the Gay Blade at the movie with my parents.
Yep,
Did
I saw
you?
it on
Yeah.
HBO. So.
I saw it on HBO.
No,
I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, I'm glad you made it too, because now
Well, I mean, knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
you could have been Batman or.
Today he
Nobody.
was Batman.
That's it.
That's right.
I went and saw
Good for
Zorro
you.
the Gay Blade with my parents, and I wanted to gun myself down. All right, so we got anything else to add?
I don't have anything else.
Gary, anything
Now I'll watch it
coming
again and I'll let you know what's up.
up? Okay.
That's it. Yeah, I have a feeling that when I watch this next time, I'll be watching it with my wife because she's a big Joaquin fan, and she went and saw something else today. So she went with her friends
What'd you
to
go
see.
see?
She went and saw Hustlers with Cardi B
I heard that's
and
really good.
J
I
Lo,
did too.
and so they
I
went
heard
and
it
saw
was
it,
good.
and they really enjoyed it. So
To me, this is the kind of movie like somebody said with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It might have been you or somebody that was like, now that I've seen it, I want to go back and just like not worry about the plot, just
I
kind of
do.
watch
I want to see
what happens.
that again.
You know?
Once upon a time.
Yeah.
I'm not that way with the Joker at all.
I'm not either.
yeah, I'll watch it again with my wife, and that's even if she like gets on my ass to watch it. If not, I probably won't. This isn't anything that I would even like rent or buy or anything like that.
Nope.
Much
What's
less even
coming up
watch it.
next at the Rivertown theaters, bro?
Yeah, bro.
Oh,
I
so
saw
this
the
is
9 to
crazy.
5,
That's what I was
and
asking.
it was fun.
Yeah, you didn't text me after. I'm like, he must have hated it.
It was fun.
Oh no, we had to
It's
leave.
9 to 5.
You were doing
Joker,
So this is
the
crazy.
musical.
No, so there's a show we're doing. It's called November.
I think we'll go see
And
that.
it's
Yeah, they're
yeah,
gonna
it's
see
it's
that.
screamingly funny. But David Mamet wrote it in 2008, and it's about he like fictionalized the president of the United States and made him like the most corrupt, crazy asshole he could think of in 2008. Okay, so we just wanted to do the show like not on any kind of like commentary about what's going on in our country right now. We announced it back in January. Since we've announced it, what's happened to the presidency in our country has like every 5 pages in this thing we're like, oh god, like that's exactly what's happening
That's
in
prophetic.
our country.
Yeah.
The opening line of Act 2 is he says, you can't build a fence along the southern border to keep the immigrants out. And he's like, why not? He goes, because you need the immigrants to build the fence. That's the opening of Act 2. He wrote this
Wow.
he wrote it in 2008. We have a whole scene about
Holy
quid pro
crap.
quo. Like it's so accidentally relevant that it's funny in like a whole new way. It's like it's one of the funniest plays I've ever seen in my life. And the guy who
Oh,
plays
wow.
the president is he's like the best actor in town.
Who?
His name is Bob Eads.
Okay.
He does stuff all over town. He played Scrooge in the Christmas Carol. Le Petit.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he's just a phenomenal actor, but it's screamingly funny, but also you hear stuff and you're like, oh god, like he wrote this 11 years ago and here we are. Like he thought he was writing this crazy motherfucker, and now we have a guy talking about snakes and alligators in a moat. And
Are
it's
you-
like, well,
Are you in it? Are you directing it?
I'm in it for like 3 little scenes.
Not directing?
No.
Okay.
Sean Patterson's, Sean.
Oh,
He's-
yeah, I know
he's
Sean.
directing. Yeah.
Oh,
I was gonna
excellent.
play with him.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Oh,
but
wow, yeah, okay.
It's definitely worth seeing, but like crazy relevant. So it's fun to see now.
Cool. Well, that's next on the docket for the Rivertown Theaters, bro. So go to
Dolly
Rivertown.
Parton's not going to be in this one, right?
No.
We're working on it.
Okay.
Rivertown Theaters with an R or R-E, either way. Go to rivertowntheaters.com. You can purchase your tickets there. I've been to several plays at the theater. There is no such thing as bad line of sight in that theater. So go over and do Gary and yourself a favor. Buy some tickets. Also, check out our site, PPV Guys group. You can jump over there, send an invite. You can also check us out on YouTube. Please subscribe over at iTunes and get our shit. Thanks for listening and seeing.